Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another very exciting game of League of Legends. This is the ULoL series, and I am joined by my co-caster, King of the Hype Squad, Kyle Corvus Crow. How you doing tonight, sir?
Well, thanks for the introduction, Brian. I am pretty good, pretty excited, actually, to see some old stream favorites Vanier back on the run again as they square off against Salle University. You'll see that LSU clan tag in game, but it is not Louisiana State. No, that is LaSalle, and relatively estranged to our broadcast schedule, you might say. You know, we haven't seen this team or much of them in the past, and so we have a little bit of a good idea of what we can expect from Vanier. But with LaSalle, it's going to be they're kind of a wild card, so it's going to be an exciting match.
Yeah, Kyle and I have actually cast Vanier. I think this is my third time casting Vanier, and this is Kyle's second time casting them. So
Yeah.
we are kind of familiar with their
Stuck
players.
on the solo cast.
That's right. But the good news is we do have the legendary Zep back in the top lane for us again.
That's right. I want all of you in the Twitch chat to spam your best Zep memes because I'm excited.
That's right. And we actually are going to be going into Champion Select here pretty shortly. I am excited to see what these two teams bust out because we do have that 7-4 patch was released about 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Tons to talk about with that.
Yeah, a lot of champions got nerfed, a lot of items got nerfed, a lot of things happened that needed to happen. And so we are going to transition over, and I'm curious to see how these two teams are going to go ahead and adapt to this, actually.
There's a lot on the board, and so ban phase I would not expect to be too different. Actually, no, right off the bat, Bard's out of there, so I think that might be a little bit of a target shot at the dankest Meep. Something tells me Mr. Meep might be interested in Bard. I don't know. Right. Sherlock Holmes needs to put together those pieces for us.
Yeah, hopefully. And luckily we have the assistance of that guy's name to help us put that one together, like you were saying. The Kha'Zix and the Lee Sin bans coming out, two both very early aggressive junglers getting taken away. Syndra getting taken away pretty early. We have seen Mango the Magus play that Syndra, and it is kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. So, good research, target ban. Yeah, that's something. There's a little bit of a problem when you play on stream is you've got this documented history, right, of teams that kind of know what you can do and what you have available, and so taking that out. Rise as well off the table there. Did take a little bit of a nerf in 7.4. Nothing incredibly crazy, but was a change to his EQ combo. And there's Orianna, Mango the Magus. Ran that, I believe, twice last time we saw them play.
Yeah.
We were casting that one. And so, easy comfort pick. Didn't want it taken away. Said, there's two mids off the table already. Let's just go ahead and secure this.
Yeah, and that's actually really not a bad pickup. Getting that Orianna pick. We have seen her be used pretty frequently by Mango the Magus, like you said, and she hasn't suffered from any nerfs, and none of the items that she primarily uses have really gotten hit badly. But I want to talk about the Corki pick.
Right, yeah, so that's actually, I'm not sure if they're running that Mayday might not have done his research, but Corki took some really heavy nerfs this time around. And so I believe most of the changes all stem around his R, and just the mana cost of that, I believe, went up. I'll have to double check that.
It was
no, it was the damage went down, and then both his AD and AP scaling ratios went down.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and the changes weren't just on like his normal rockets, but like the big one got nerfed, the normal rockets got nerfed. So I'm curious actually to see how strong Corki is with these nerfs. Like, did it really make as big of a difference as the numbers say it does, right?
Right, yeah, because on paper it certainly looks like a borderline crippling nerf to this guy, but you never know, and in the hands of a skilled player, who's to say? I do want to talk about the Jhin pickup as well on the side of Vanier. They are going to be taking that one out. Slight nerf to Jhin this time around. You'll see it when he hits that level 6. His ultimate, when it connects with somebody, the slow is reduced from 3/4 of a second to half a second. So it's actually going to help a lot in terms of people trying to dodge out survivability-wise. And so I think we may be seeing a fair amount of that, especially against some more immobile opponents like the Varus that's just come through or the Nami.
Right, but we do have to keep in mind Nami's passive does kind of help with that. Whenever she casts a spell on a teammate, it does give them a little bit of a speed boost, whether that's the heal or her E that does bonus damage to the auto attacks and the slow. So that might actually play a factor into this as well.
Well, Zepp is coming through with the Maokai, another champion we've actually
Got
seen
nerfed.
take some pretty heavy shots on the chin there. The Maokai nerf is going to be an additional 5 mana cost per level of his Q. So it used to be 45 base across the board, and now it's 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 at top level. So I would actually be surprised to see the same amount of harass and pressure coming out from Maokai. He's going to be a little bit more neutered, have to be a little bit careful in how he plays this.
Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind, is because if Maokai gets shut down early and he's not able to secure at least that second Doran's Ring to help him out with that extra mana regen, I imagine he's gonna have a very hard time in this lane, at least farming safely under tower, because not only did the mana cost for his Arcane Smash get increased, but they actually removed some of the damage that comes out from the Sapling Toss as well.
Right, yeah, so it's only when the Sapling Toss actually lands on you. They've removed basically the damage from the impact of when it hits the ground.
Right.
And so if you tossed it into minions or something, it's not going to do that initial damage. It's only now it's exploding damage, but that stat remains unchanged.
Right, and that actually, the Sapling Toss actually did a lot for Maokai's wave clear under turret and outside of turret, actually, because it was enough damage to help him farm safely under there with the Arcane Smash. But that damage reduction and the Arcane Smash mana increase does hurt him pretty badly, I think.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. He's certainly going to be interesting to see him tie into the Nautilus lane. You know, Nautilus was always a very safe and effective pick into Maokai. And so now we're going to see if those changes have actually maybe tipped the scales in the, Titanic Aquaman's favor.
Yeah, I mean, everyone likes to watch the old Nautilus go at it, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Positionally, actually, I really like what the side of LaSalle's put together here, just with this really potent front line coming out from the Nautilus, but then a lot of engage or disengage potential kind of at their leisure with the rest of their team. You know, Elise coming in with the Cocoon as a great fight initiator. The Nami ultimate as well can be used aggressively or defensively. So to have that in their back pocket seems like they're going to be the ones to try to decide what fights they do and don't want to take, as opposed to the side of Vanier.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I do find interesting is there's really not a ball delivery system with Orianna as well.
Right. No, that's a really good point.
So you don't really have a lot of really solid, I guess, engage from the side of Vanier. Like, I mean, they have Maokai, right? He can use a twisted advance, like flash twisted advance, and get the ball in that way. But I mean, you can only do that so often, right?
Right. I mean, if you're gonna burn flash with it every time, I mean, that's a 5-minute cooldown on your initiation. So
yeah,
something you definitely have to be mindful of. Super careful.
Yeah, that's an expensive cooldown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and if the front line of Nautilus is, if it's even with that twisted advanced ball delivery combo, that's not enough to kind of break through the Nautilus there. That's going to be pretty well wasted.
Yeah. And one thing that we are kind of discounting is how effective we've seen Huge Red Panda play on Karma before, though. Like,
yeah, that is true.
His Karma is so aggressive. Like, you can tell it's aggressive because he's running Ignite. Like,
right, yeah. This guy's just going to be looking for kills left, right, and center. A lot of roaming potential coming out from this is something you can't just say, oh, well, Karma's not going to come in and then just, like, goose me mid lane. Well, yes, she very well might. So it's something you got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and it's something that we've seen Huge Red Panda do. So I think it would be very, very good by LaSalle to kind of be mindful of that. Pay attention to your wards in that river, because in this matchup between Huge Red Panda and your bot lane, it's very important. You know where he is just as much as where you know Sir Celery is.
Absolutely. Well, the delay will be ticking out in the last 5 seconds here, so we should be hopping it in pretty soon to see some League of Legends action. Going to give you the rundown of either side. It is going to be on that blue side, Vanier with Zepp in the top lane. Sir Celery repping out the jungle with that. Jin being played by Hani, and then Huge Red Panda repping out the support.
Yeah, that's gonna be we love it. We love watching Huge Red Panda play. And then on the side of on the side of Salle, we do have, hang on, let me pull it up because my game is still loading in.
No problem, I'll do it for you. It's Supius in the top lane. Phaeton in that jungle. Mayday 1 running through the mid lane below 0 with that beautiful Arctic Ops Varus skin in the bot lane and a really good looking border to boot. And then up at the top, the support role will be the Dankest Meep on possibly the second choice of Earth the Namati.
Yeah, I actually really like the Earth the Namati skin. It's personally one of my favorites. It's such a great skin.
It's always better, yeah. The lighthearted skins, I think, are the most favorite. We got Meowkai in the top on the other side, too. It's like Mafia Graves, so serious, and then it's just like, you know.
Yeah, and Blood Moon Jin, I mean, like, his name has blood in it. Like, that can't be nice.
No, I know. It's honestly off-putting. Why would anyone buy these terrible skins? Rito, please.
Please. It looks really cool in game, but it's so spooky.
Skins. Right. Looking across the board, it does seem like, at least on my display, Phaeton has not connected quite yet, so we could be in this loading screen for a little bit of time. And right as I say that, the magic happens. There it is, loading on.
The caster curse.
We should be in this one pretty soon.
Yeah, and it looks like we are in game. It should be loading up here very shortly. Going to switch us over to these transitions here.
A little bit of technical difficulties coming off the bat, but
yeah,
what can you expect?
I know it's always like too much to ask that things just happen without a hitch, right?
I know. Where's Todd Howard when you need him? It just works.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the biggest overstatement in the entirety of gaming last year.
Listen, we won't talk about it. Please don't. Don't make me sad, Kyle. So it does look like we are gonna see some pretty basic item starts coming out from well, I take that back. Corky picking up that Doran's Blade.
Yeah, not exactly what you'd expect, but we'll see what he can make of it in that lane. I don't think he's going to have the early aggression without his rockets to really do much to Orianna. We'll have some nice auto attack poke, but beyond that, I don't think the Doran's Blade's going to tip the scale there.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, Orianna is pretty safe. The nice thing, like the best Orianna players, the way they use the ball is just it's really like a work of art. Because they use the ball essentially as like an enemy champion or as like a barrier to entry, right? Like you want to like aggress on me, but you not only have to worry about my auto attacks, you have to worry about the movement of the ball as well, because that will set up damage, that'll set up a combo. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with it, and that's what really separates the good Orianna players from like the best ones, is the understanding of how to position the ball and then position yourself around where the ball is.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's going to be an interesting start. Zep is tossing down 2 of the saplings onto that Raptor camp, and so I'm curious to see how that's going to sort of jumpstart Sir Celery here in this jungle position, because he's not getting a leash from his bottom lane, it looks like, or so far anyway. They're not supporting around that red buff, so interestingly enough, this should be a pretty quick blue clear and movement from Phaeton, so I think, unless I'm missing something here, that's going to be an interesting start.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm curious to see. It makes me wonder if these guys, with the kind of item changes and things like that, made a different decision about how they wanted to run their pathing. And here we see Red Panda being as aggressive as we were talking about, already landing some empowered Qs on Jin.
Didn't quite get what you wanted out of that one. The trade was not there for Red Panda. Did take more than he was able to dish, and so all in all, no harm, no foul. We'll just taper things out, but still, you can't be making those mistakes at the point of when these champions have a couple more items to them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, once they start getting some meat on their bones, that's when you really have to be careful, especially against that Varus, who is still very strong, even with those lethality nerfs coming out a little bit.
Right, yeah, the lethality nerfs were mostly to the items. There were a couple masteries that were affected, and I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but item-wise, it is going to be basically the decision now. Okay, do you want Ghostblade, or would you rather go with that Edge of Night? And so we'll get back to that with an early gank coming out from Phaeton in the top lane. Zep is caught up, does flash out, but the Cocoon was saved in reserve. They take the tower shot easily, too, to boot, but First Blood going right over to Suvius. Will take that one very gratefully, and gonna give him a nice top lane advantage.
Yeah, and that is so nice. That was a very good gank by Phazon.
They might be going for a counter gank. Look here, Graves is off in the wings. We'll see if they're gonna go for it. It would be a 2v2. He's coming up. Yes, Cercelery's in on this one. Phaeton gonna get a nice cocoon. Cercelery's in the middle of a lot of minions. He's gonna have to back that one out very quickly. Now Zep cannot follow up. This could be more than Cercelery planned on biting off, and so he does have to flash out of that one.
Suvius
does get away for it.
Actually whiffed his flash there too.
Oh, I know, that's heartbreaking. Actually, at least it's still pursuing.
Oh wow!
Oh, no,
look at that money.
She's gonna find Cercelery's dead here. Holy cow!
That was
Wow.
nah.
What aggression and just totally unpunished.
Yeah, and this is actually a kind of a bit of a change from what. Oh, hang on, some bot lane aggression.
Yeah, we got a little bit going down. The Ignite that you talked about earlier has come out. A nice shot from Hani to secure it, but the low zero is almost certainly going to find himself a kill here. I don't think he can go for two, but Panda doesn't have much mana here, so that's actually going to be the Q. He flashes in for it, double down, and just like that, double kill coming through for Varus. Takes that one right away, and a little bit of a, I believe, miscalculation from Red Panda, if we're going to assign blame to anyone for that, right? Because just so aggressive, but Pony was taking so much damage from below zero that by the time that they were able to turn their focus, it didn't matter. There was nothing that any of them could do to escape. The flash from Varus was all it took, and Red Panda went down for it.
Yeah, and that actually is kind of where you see the strength of Ignite versus the strength of Exhaust in terms of summoners.
Right.
Honey got exhausted by the Dankest Meep at probably one of the best times, honestly, or I guess one of the worst times. It was right in the middle of his trade with below zero.
Depends on which side you're talking about, right?
Right, exactly. And the huge Red Panda used the Ignite on the Dankest Meep, not on below zero. So I mean, it's really just like where the summoners were used and who they were used on, right?
Absolutely. I think all in all, it was very effective trading coming out from the side of Salle, and it's turned into a more than 1K gold.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you have like this is not a position we're used to seeing Vanier in, right?
Normally, we don't even see gold leads start to build until first tower comes down, but we've been having a bloodbath across the map. A lot in thanks to the efforts of Phaeton. The other side, just from good bot lane control coming out from below zero and Dankest Meep. So
yeah,
a lot to talk about and praise on this early game for the side of the Salle.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, Kyle, since this is our first time kind of watching them, it's actually kind of nice to, oh my goodness, Honey taking a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, that's over half his health there. If Varus can land one Q shot on there, actually he would be in death range. I think actually the stacks of the Blighted Quiver may have just expired because, or maybe the Karma Shield was just more potent than I thought, but that was... We'll get back to that. That's a dive onto Zep, but a little more than they want. Nautilus starts taking tower, and Zep is instantaneously in. Phaeton is out of this one as well as Cercelery comes in, but it's only to defer the gank, and they will save Zep's life there. Suvius is also going to have to back. Does have teleport advantage. I'm not sure if he's going to use it. Probably so. Most teams don't tend to teleport down for that early ocean break. Oh, what patience coming out from below zero there.
Yeah, I mean, that's really where you're seeing a good Varus player. If he's able to be patient with winding up those Qs, calculating your shot, like be Legolas, man, be Legolas.
Absolutely, just it's quality over quantity with that spell because sure it's okay at chipping away minions, but if you're missing the champion, you're not really getting anything from that.
Yeah, and
now he's just gonna be chewing into his mana pool.
Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind is he, like, as Varus levels up that Q, it does begin to cost more mana.
Got a roam coming down. Mango is coming in for this one. Dankest Meep is certainly caught up here, but they might try to get in onto below zero. Does have the shockwave available, does find it on two! And Panda takes the first kill away, second going over to Honey. Nice turnaround, good roam. And now Cercelery is pushing in, exhausted onto this one. Mayday should be able to find this, does not, gets ulted, and Celery takes that one out. So all in all, a lot of signs of life coming back out of Vanier there to take a bad situation and turn it into an advantage. This should be first tower if Zep can hold off the top lane push.
Yeah. Oh no, Zep getting caught out. Will he die here?
Yeah, looks like after all he cannot hold off the top lane push.
Yeah, but they might be able to hold it off long enough where, well, actually I don't know. I can't tell. I don't know. Are they gonna hold it off long enough? Oh, the turret race.
Yeah, it's the race. It's going to Vanier. They got it. First tower goes down.
Zep's sacrifice was not in vain.
Ooh. Yeah, just a couple seconds too late, and it looks like they're running to Dragon here, but I don't think that's going to be necessarily the best call. We'll see, because the other side of LaSalle is around. There is no Elise to contest this, and so it's just going to be a matter of whether or not they're going to try to find the follow-up fight. Celery finds the Dragon. There it's coming out. There is Mayday getting in, but he is exhausted very quickly out of this one. Mango's trying to run for his life. Celery as well caught in the pit with the remainder of the bot lane of Vanier. So this is a dangerous position to be in, but they do burn those critical flashes to get out, and whew, close one. I don't know if it's really worth the flashes for just that Ocean Drake. That was a good enough punish from the side of LaSalle, but they really weren't able to follow through. They brought it just to that precipice and then kind of backed off.
Yeah, that was man, that was rough, because that's where you kind of see the teleport advantage that Vanier had, right, with that Maokai. Suvius was stuck in the top lane. There was absolutely nothing he could do there.
His presence of Zeppelin kept everything off.
Right, exactly. Like, they definitely would have died. Mayday used the package to be very aggressive there and get in on Vanier, but it didn't really matter, because they had just enough disengage, and the damage was just scary enough where LaSalle didn't want to force it, and they didn't have the backup of Suvius to go up against Zepp.
Right.
I mean, and that's...
And Phantom was on the other side of the map, right? That's not where you want your jungler to be when the Dragon pressure is coming down. So all in all, really good presence of mind to play the map, but they did burn just a whole hell of a lot for that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot lost for that, but I think...
at least 2 flashes. I believe Salle just got over with the Graves dash, but the teleport as well, and then... no, the Ignite was not burned, so all in all, that's just 3 summoners, so...
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind that Vanier, before that, had a 300 gold lead, and now they're actually been reversed to being down by about 400 gold.
Right, yeah, they are just chipped away at that one. I believe that's still just the kill pressure there. First tower did get them a good amount, but the farm advantages are slowly building up in that mid lane. You got just a little bit to talk about, but down bot, it's already a 10 CS advantage for the side of LaSalle. Celery's trying to get in just to stop this mid push. We'll find it, and all in all, things should go pretty quiet here. I don't think either team's looking to make many aggressive moves. Red Panda could be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's all it takes. The fight could be breaking out, half health already, and that one goes over to Phaeton. I don't believe they're going to try to follow up to punish. So it's teleport advantage when Nautilus is just roamed down and Zep's still up top.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very good catch out by the side of Suvius. I mean, like we said, Huge Red Panda plays very aggressive, but at the same time, oh wow, hang on.
Oh, nice chain of corruption come through. Below Zero's going, but he's so far behind enemy line. Celery finds the first one, but now he is the target, and Phantom is going to propel up while the rest of the damage is done now by Dankaspeed. That's another kill found. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Mango is trying to get out of this one. Is exhausted, will likely die here. They're going to pick that one up. Say thank you very much. And all in all, it's another 2 going right over to the side of LaSalle there.
Oh no, Phaeton, you don't want to be there.
That does not make sense. We're going to call it a mulligan. It happens to the best of us. Phantom giving up the free kill says, you know what, we think we got too much off of that one, so we'll hand you something back.
Yeah, that was weird. He missed the cocoon, and then he decided he still wanted to try to fight? Question mark?
Yep, was a little bit boosted. Either way, that's come to tune of a tower taken in that mid lane. So all in all, the advantages are still pressuring out very nicely for the side of LaSalle. Zep should be unpunished in this top lane, taking one back, but it is valuable time behind that he is spending there. So
yeah,
we'll see if they can come in and punish the Nautilus.
Right, and the thing is that Maokai, he's not having problems keeping up in farm because of those nerfs, but he was just focused early on so much by Elise, and like between Phaeton and Suvius, Maokai got at least shut down a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, the 0-2-0 start at 12 minutes is not what you expect for the Titanic tree there. Just to come through, generally one of the more safe picks in that top lane, right? That's kind of why you pick him, is because you don't expect to give up many kills early on, and then just run out into the late game when you finally got your itemization and CC to be a big enough threat during the team fight phase. But
yeah,
to punish this and push him back, given an early kill onto Nautilus, who really benefits from running away with that that advantage, the snowballing, and then, they gave one over to Elise as well. 4-1-1 now on that champion. That is going to be pretty big for one of the more damage-heavy junglers in the current meta.
Yeah, that is going to be huge. And it does look like, oh, hang on, looks like we're going to see a fight here.
Vankus Meep is getting caught out on the first one. Both teleports come out. They're going to go in for it. The ult does come down, but Celery finds the first kill. They're going in on to below zero. Nautilus is here now, and Panda is instantaneously destroyed coming right out, but Zep is not done. He's following through on the fight. Tony and Mango, the damage dealers, are still alive, but their tank line is not there. It's already 3, gonna be 4 if Honey cannot get out of this one. He does manage it with a flash, but the dive may persist. I don't think it will, and Honey finds it on Subius. Out of nowhere picks up a kill in a very bad situation, so is making a little bit of lemonade out of these lemons, but still in so much danger. Phaeton wants it. That's the shutdown coming through, but Mango's gonna find a return kill, does take it out. Really scrappy fight from both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, geez. So, wow. That's the second time we've seen Phaeton do a very questionable, just walk under tower type play, right?
Run right into it, giving up another kill, 4, 2, and 3 at this point, but was able to at least help find the pressure to allow Honey to go down, and so did come through with that. Next dragon is up, and like clockwork, they are there to find it. Is going to be coming out pretty well, so Mountain Drake should be pretty uncontested here.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing for me is, so Vanier is losing these fights, and they're technically on the back foot during these fights, but at the same time they're really not, because we see them able to keep up in the neutral objective and tower game still. They're really only behind by those kills, right? I mean,
I'd say what separates Vanier from most teams that we see, oh wow, just on the edge of the hitbox, Panda gets found out by that cocoon, will be the death of him. Nice alley-oop shot coming out from below zero to take that one through. Looks like the pressure's going to keep building on this bot lane. Should be looking for another dive here. That is something we've seen definitely in the comfort zone of the side of LaSalle. Nice juke onto Subius. Does get caught up just a little bit by some Nami skills, but it's not going to be enough. They find the tower, and all the while, Hani was in the top side, right? He's running through top lane, so was not available to really help dissuade any of that. The tower went out pretty well for free. Panda giving up a kill as well, so
yeah,
good from the side of LaSalle.
Yeah, LaSalle, I think they kind of have a pretty good handle on this game, but I think they're having a hard time just kind of figuring out where to rotate. They did a good job going to that bottom, but now those first tier turrets are down, and this is normally the part in the game where we see teams start to flounder. What is
a little bit, yeah.
What is it they normally decide to take? Usually we have to see them win a fight of some kind or get a pick on a key player before they can really aggress anything, because the decision making isn't quite there yet. Oh, Mayday getting caught out really bad though.
Yeah, that could be a tower dive. The ult from Ori does not find it. Mango whiffs the shockwave, and that will mean a clean escape for Mayday. Just not today. Coming out pretty well, but the pressure's still on, right? All 5 members are in the surrounding area, and actually the side of Vanier could be leaving themselves open to a flank, but it will be Subius is turned on first. Zep trying to be the tank line for his team that he needs there. That's half the health of the Nautilus already, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, especially this early on. But we also have to look at Nautilus's items. He does have that Spirit Visage, which does increase all of his health regen that he gets. I think it's by 25%. So he will be regening that health relatively quickly. So as long as they can hold off until below zero gets back, I think LaSalle should be okay during this push. Or not. Because they're very aggressive.
They're just going to go right for it here. They're going on to Subius, who's the first target. Mayday goes in, but finds the exhaust onto him. Celery will find that kill. No, I'm sorry, Mango takes it away. Celery's just taking the damage on the tower to keep all the players fresh and healthy there. The Ocean Drake as well should do pretty well if they're serious about these pings that are indicating they might rush down this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and I was incorrect in saying that I thought they would be safe. I totally forgot that Huge Red Panda was the one playing Karma.
Yeah, no, right? That's the X factor coming out from Vanier, right? They're a little bit unpredictable. We know it's going to be aggressive. We just don't know how that's going to manifest itself. And so the way they played that was really, really well. And I was making this point before the fight broke out in the bot lane when they found Panda and then pressed down the tower. I was going to say most teams we see or we've taking a look at when there's skill disparity between them, start to kind of lie down, right? We've seen a lot of teams in Vanier's position really just kind of give up the reins right around the time that maybe that second or third tower started to fall. But these guys are playing with a really good degree of mental fortitude, and even though they may have some disadvantages and some advantages they gave over to the side of LaSalle, they're playing really well around it regardless.
Yeah, I mean that's like one of the things that we really have kind of talked about for Vanier is they have been very mentally strong, and that's something that we've touched on for pretty much all of the teams that we've casted, right? I mean, like, not necessarily on the teams themselves that we've casted, but the type of teams that you need to be to kind of survive in this tournament.
Right, sure. It's easy to see where other teams are lacking that, and so in an instance like this, it's actually really refreshing to see Vanier playing without that quality.
Yeah, especially when they've had a relatively, at least from the games that we've seen and the ones that they've played against the teams that we've commentated, a relatively dominant run.
Right, absolutely. I don't think we see many games this close at almost 20 minutes here. Hani found out by Phaeton and instantaneously burst out. Celery's not there in enough time, and Mayday's coming through. A little too late to get that assist or kill snipe out, but either way, that is a pretty devastating pick if you're trying to build up this bot lane push here. It looks like they're at least either trying to apply a lot of jungle pressure, or I think they want this tower, and without Hani there as a deferral, that's going to be a pretty clean way to run right down.
Yeah, and something that I feel like I should touch on is if you look at Phaeton's build, he's got the Leandries, he's got the Runic Echoes, and he's got the Sork Boots. But the Sork Boots and the Leandries are the two items that I want to touch on because those both have very, very, very good magic penetration. Basically flat magic pen, 15 just on the side of Leandries, and then another 15 for Sork Boots. So that's like a flat oh, hang on, Phaeton's getting caught out really bad.
I'm actually experiencing a little bit of a technical difficulty. The game's frozen up on me, so you're going to have to carry us through this one.
Yeah, that's fine. Here comes Vesuvius on the back line. He is in the middle of the enemy team, but he's not. He gets Karma, but he's going to die for it. Below zero, Mayday, and Dank's Meat not able to do anything with that. The ult coming out from Honey, not really connecting, not really getting the slows that he needed to help Mango the Magus close that distance. Their Salle are getting really, really low to 300 health, and it looks like they are just going to disengage from this fight right here. And that was actually very, very poorly played. Suvius coming out on the back line, not entirely sure what he was doing there. Mayday below zero, and Dank's Meep were still on the opposite side of that turret, and they really weren't able to come and join that fight. So Phaeton getting caught out first, almost dying instantaneously, not getting any of his damage down, and Suvius just being in the back line, only able to trade against Huge Red Panda. So you went 1 for 2, and it was in favor of Vanier. Not exactly what you're looking for if you are the side of LaSalle. A little bit of a questionable engage there for sure. So something that I didn't really get to touch on before was that the ward control for LaSalle in the early game was very good. The bot side jungle for all of LaSalle was warded up in Vanier, and so they did a very good job of knowing where people were and whether or not they could or could not be aggressors, and that was very huge in helping below zero and Dagus Meep survive in this Honey Huge Red Panda lane. Hang on, nope, no aggression is going to come out there. Mayday did have to burn that package to kind of stay safely there. It looks like Suvius is going to engage. Salle getting caught out with the Chains of Corruption, and it does look like Zep is going to get on there. The ult coming out from Jin, the curtain call. Dank's Meep taking a lot of damage. There goes Suvius. He is already dead, but it does not look like Phaeton is going to get out of this one alive. Celery taking a whole lot of damage, kind of low health bars from this. Oh my goodness. There goes Celery getting killed by below zero, taking a ton of damage from that piercing arrow there. I mean,
yeah, all in all, turns out just a 1-for-1, but
yeah,
still really explosive fight coming out from these guys. So, is the top lane trade for just the jungler? I think that's slightly in the favor of Vanier, just because Subius is the majority of that tank line for the side of LaSalle. But
right,
if they're not grouping, it's not going to matter too much because we see Hani running back to that top lane. Traditionally, not the best place for it.
Yeah, and something I do kind of want to point out is this is the second fight in a row that we've seen Suvius and Phaeton both be in a very bad position. So they need to be very careful during these fights that they're not out of position doing flanks that their team can't follow up on, because that is very, very bad for them if that keeps happening, because Suvius is dying before Mayday below 0 can even really get into the fight to do their damage, or at least the majority of their damage.
Uh-oh, that's going to be possibly the dive come down. Sir Celery hit up by a lot of CC. Chain of Corruption finding him in the cocoon. We'll just keep this going, but Marius has been killed in the backline all the while. They went for 1 ADC, but lost their own in the process. That's going to be Zep finding the second kill. The ult coming through will help Suvius go down. The fourth shot, while it does not connect, will still prove a very big divider as the team is now fallen. 4 members, only Mayday surviving. Their Celery still the only one down on the side of Vanier. So they've actually equalized out these kills and taken a gold lead back for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and Vanier being very aggressive on those fights. I mean, here comes Huge Red Panda again. He really wants to get onto Mayday.
Really not afraid to just dive right in there and take it out. That's the ace coming through. That's going to be possibly another tower going down. I don't know if they have the minions just yet, but they certainly will on the next wave. No, the tower is gone with one lone caster minion running into a sea of enemies.
We all know the caster minion is the real hero of the game.
There's actually a comic published a really long time ago about a very emotional piece about 2 minions that were in love.
Oh,
and,
no.
I recommend everyone find it. I'll try to find the name between games here because it's just
yeah, find it and then tweet it out, and then everyone can read it as like a belated Valentine's Day like League of Legends comic.
yeah. Honestly, they could make a full-on feature-length movie out of it. That's got to be the next Rito cinematic.
The love between 2 caster minions. Respect.
Right now, it seems to be Baron that the Vanier is loving the idea of they are going to clear out the wards, start it up, and I don't believe actually there's too many threats here except the steal potential from Phantom and see if he goes for it. He's over the wall, but it is picked up by Ori actually. They're going to find it. Phantom deep behind enemy lines is taken out. Now Suvius is trying to do his damnedest to keep things running up here, and there's some nice combos that will take out Mango there, but Suvius is pretty low. Hani does find it with the double kill. They're going to keep on this one. Panda in a good position to help keep things moving. The triple kill below Zero's health could be going to 0. He falls. Sir Celery takes that one. And all in all, it's a 4-for-1 so far, but Baron advantage definitely in the hands of Vanier. They've come thundering back from the slight disadvantage they had prior.
Yeah, and that's the product of a couple of bad fights by the side of LaSalle. Like Phaeton and Suvius out of position super hard, like 3 fights in a row. Vanier is a team that is not going to just let that happen. Like, I mean, they will punish you for that. Like, if you're out of position, you will get punished. And if you are constantly down in these fights before they even begin, you damn well be sure that you're going to lose.
That seems to be the story, right? We saw Phaeton going in, and much to his credit, there's not anything else you can do. You can't give up that Baron for free. You have to try for the steal. Did not make it, but wasn't able to repel back over the wall, so alone in that, I think the real problem was that when it didn't come through, Suvius tried to get in, and this all the same as well, and they really weren't able to follow up. All they had was the ultimate coming out from Dankis Meep, and I believe a shot below 0 to really finish off Mango there, but after that was done, it's kind of, what's left in your arsenal? What can you throw at this?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm actually a little bit concerned about, is it seems like Phaeton and Suvius are on a completely different page than the rest of the team.
You seem to want a little bit more aggression, but now Suvius, as I say, that is flashing out of the fight that seems to be starting. The teleport pretty deep does get canceled. Zep says, never mind. That is actually, I believe, the right call. Keep up that split push you want when you have Baron, as many Baron minions in as many lanes as possible. So while they are taking out the last third of that or so, they should be trying to optimize as best as possible.
Yeah, and having Maokai in the top lane is actually not a terrible idea, because they do have the super Vanier does have super minions pushing in on LaSalle's base from that mid lane, and so having them in the bot, putting Maokai in the top, not a terrible decision, because Suvius is their only tank, so he has to go top, but his teleport might have been able to get canceled by Zep's twisting advance. So there's a lot of things that are happening right now, and Maokai's in that top. They're pinging it out. They know they want it, and it does look like Suvius is going to try to make something happen with the teleport.
Absolutely. The 4 members of Vanier have held enough pressure, but we'll see if they can escape from it when it's turned back onto them. Mission complete, though. They've got Steph taken out the first tower. They're actually going to aggress on this in the 4v5 situation with that Jin ult burned out. The low zero is possibly going to be in trouble there, but Suvius is coming through with the ultimate on the Red Panda. Will get tacked up, but might be out of range. Celery is in range of something big and gets hit up, but Mango's doing so much damage in the interim and takes out 2. Celery finds 1 kill of that, but is killed in return himself. Now Hani is trying to follow up with this one. He and Mango have the damage, but not the tank stats. Can they keep on it? Meanwhile, in the top lane, turret is already down. That's another inhibitor tower, possibly another inhibitor going. While the dive persists, Mango will die for this. Shut down to bars. Hani deep behind enemy lines too. Can't do much. The snipe doesn't connect, so we'll get out of that in a flash twist. Advance means Zep is on a killing spree. At least turns it around with one onto Hani, and now Panda tanking up the tower. He doesn't give a damn. He's just going to push this on in. They're trying at least another inhibitor out of this, as well as a 3-for-3 fight thus far. We'll see what else comes through.
Yeah, and that actually was just the aggression that LaSalle had to pull out, like their final stand, pretty much. They used a lot for that fight, and it was a very good fight by Below Zero and Mayday Mayday. Both of them managed to stay out of the damage of Honey, Mango the Magnus, and Sir Celery pretty much that entire time. So very, big shout out to them for doing a very good job of having their positioning be on point and following up with Suvius and Phaeton at least.
Right. In the context of defending that bot lane tower, they did a really good job. And the issue was just that they left the split push unchecked by Step. It's kind of like the perfect position to be in if you are a top laner, right? Especially someone like Maokai who, while he can duel, would rather just free push all day. I think he get everything he wanted kind of on a silver platter there.
Yeah, and I mean, basically Vanier got everything they wanted. Being able to get 3 kills, get that other inhibitor. Like, they got 2 turrets, an inhibitor and a 2-tier turret. An inhibitor turret, I'm sorry. And the inhibitor and a tier 2 turret. And pressure on that.
Stacked it up there.
That's right.
And they're not done. They're going to go for the same strategy twice here. As you can see that Zip has returned to that top lane with teleport in his back pocket still. Meanwhile, the remaining members are running back down. They could be in trouble, though, if they're not expecting this. This is so patient coming from the side of LaSalle, and it's going to mean Sir Celery. He's taken out before the fight even begins. Absolutely beautiful. Now they're on to Mango. He's likely going to go down. He does 2 below 0. That's the first one found for them. Now the huge red panda could be in trouble. 3rd kill of the fight comes through. That's a double down for Varus. But look at their base. Look at this. Maokai's not stopped. He's not teleported in. He's just chipping away at this. Still running through. The last Nexus tower is down. The Nexus is exposed. How long can they hold off these backs? Oh, I don't know. I don't think they can. I think the backs are coming through. That should mean safety for the side of LaSalle. But look at that. That's devastating. They lose a fight, but, you know, to position to win the war.
Yeah, and I think that is a very good strategy by Vanier. Although a little bit unfortunate that as they did that, LaSalle did get that middle inhibitor back just in time. So I think it'll
be whack-a-mole. One goes down, the other pops up.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, excellent fight again by the side of LaSalle. Below 0, Mayday, Mayday. And also, incredible patience by Phaeton, waiting in that side bush. Just waiting.
Excellent patience. Did net them really good defense there. And the fight, again, goes over pretty well in favor of the side of LaSalle. It's just that they don't have an answer for the split push right now.
Yeah, oh no, it does look like Sir Celery is going to get...
He wants it. Take he is the target, and support cannot be that far up without any peel. Phaeton repelled instead of repealing. And that's going to be a shockwave finding Mayday, Mayday. He's going to be the next one of the fight. Below 0. Twisted advance does connect. Will mean he's likely in some really big trouble. Tries to deal the damage back onto Hani, but it is too little, too late. Already calling GGWP from the side of Vanier as they're going to push right through to this. The inhibitor's down. The Nexus is exposed. That means game number 1 will very likely be going over to our friends in Vanier, picking up the first win in a series that looks like it's going to be very close.
Yeah, and that game didn't really start to get out of hand until about that middle game around the 20-minute mark, where we saw Phaeton and Suvius both being very aggressive without actually needing to be that aggressive with each other. Really, really unfortunate that kind of happened there.
Absolutely was a pretty big blow to them, but you know what? it is a best of 3 series, and this is one of the closest matches I think you and I have ever cast together.
Yeah.
And at least all the way up to the point of sort of no return there, it was looking really deadpan even. So I'm expecting hopefully some revitalization from the side of LaSalle in game 2, just a little bit more measured play. I think what we saw coming out from them in that bot lane brush, when they were just waiting and being so patient, is exactly what they need to do. And so if they can just kind of keep up that mentality throughout the remainder of this series, I think we could be seeing a very different outcome through game 2 and 3.
Yeah,
assuming we get that far.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it does seem like LaSalle, they managed to get on the same page there towards the end of the match. My guess is that they will go back, look at this, and maybe make some adjustments to their kind of communication strategy, or at least clear up some of those hurdles there.
Absolutely right.
And actually, with that, we are going to take a commercial break as we are getting ready to pull people into that second game. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere, and Kyle and I will be right back. Thank you so much for watching.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.